बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा.
So these are the two requirements. So most of the current firewalls do support these things. They do support URL filtering, where you can control the users based on what they can access on the internet. At the same time, once they allow the access, you also make sure that that particular content, whatever you have been receiving, it's completely clean without any kind of malicious code. Even they do support antivirus programs. Again, what is antivirus programs? Basically they are the programs which are designed to prevent or detect any kind of softwares, viruses, or any kind of malicious softwares like worms, trojans, adware, and there are different types of malicious codes. Generally call it as a malicious codes. So it's going to detect and prevent those things. Now, again, we also have something called IPS. Now, earlier we used to have a dedicated device called IPS, Intrusion Detection System and Intrusion Prevention System. Even in Cisco, we used to have a dedicated device. Now, this IDS IPS features, now it is integrated inside the firewall. So if you try to understand what is the job of, first we'll try to understand what is the job of IDS or IPS. Now, basically, IPS is a technology which is going to examine the traffic flow, which means any traffic which is coming or going on your network, it will be examined, or it's like checking the traffic. And it's going to check and see if there is any kind of suspicious activity, or if there is any kind of vulnerability. Because just like one kind of simple example, let's say the user is sending a web traffic, but when it inspects, it realizes that inside the packet, the port number it actually uses is 23. Now, this is kind of suspicious because it says it's an HTTP packet, and assuming that HTTP packet should go with the port number 80, but rather than it's something different. So this is a kind of suspicious, some kind of vulnerability. So where the attacker, maybe there is a kind of a different thing. It's not like regular. So it's going to detect this kind of things, and based on that, it can generate either alarms, indicate your firewall to block that particular traffic, or indicate the administrator, or even IPS have the feature to stop that particular attack, those kind of things. Not only attack, even they do support some advanced malware protection. Now, advanced malware protection is a kind of mechanism to detect any kind of new malwares, a kind of malicious codes, because most of the suspicious activity is done based on some program. So it also have a mechanism to detect that, the current IPS, and that's what we call as next generation IPS. So the normal IPS supports these things, what I explained, but the next generation IPS, they do have a capability to do advanced malware protection. Now, basically, in advanced malware protection, what it will do is it's going to monitor, analyze the records, and it's going to detect the activity of that particular file or whatever the packet. Okay, so, and it's going to see the behavior of that, and based on that, it's going to take an action. So even there is some kind of advanced threat protection called sandboxing. Now, sandboxing is a method of kind of simulating a traffic or simulating a packet. Like, this is a packet, it's going to simulate with the multiple systems or multiple applications or multiple browsers, and it's going to see the behavior of that particular packet, and it's going to continuously analyze that particular packet as it is moving through the network. And based on that, it's going to identify, if it is an infection, then it's going to identify what is the root cause, and then it's going to do some kind of a solution or remediation to overcome that. So even most of the current next generation IPS, they do support these additional features or additional benefits, which not only provides protection as the packet has been started, as the packet is moving in your network, also it's going to continuously monitor those packets. Now, coming to the next feature, the other features like email security as well. Now, all the firewalls may not support again the email security. Again, it depends. You can either have a separate email security device. Now, mostly in today's network, you also require some kind of email security. Now, email security means, most of the common threats are based on web-based from internet. So we have a web security or URL filtering, those kind of things. And the other one is based on the emails. Even you may have some kind of email based threads where you might be receiving some kind of spams or some kind of malware attachments you see, or even there is also an option of data leaking. Even inside the company, there is a possibility that the employees may leak your information through email as well, or phishing kind of attacks. So what you may want to configure some kind of policies, which is going to tell that if someone is trying to access his Gmail account, that's not allowed. You can define what are the email applications should work or should not work, and what are the emails he can receive from where. And not only that, even if he's receiving the emails, it will ensure that the emails messages are completely clean, or if they have any kind of malicious codes, or if they have any kind of attachments, if you run those attachments, then it may have some malicious code. So basically, it's going to check those things as well. Now, the other options like you also need another feature in today's network called data loss prevention. Now, data loss means, now first let's see what is the data loss. Data loss is nothing but a valuable or any kind of sensitive information on your computer or maybe on your network, which can be compromised, maybe due to theft or maybe some kind of error, human error. You by mistake delete some files, or maybe some kind of virus, malicious codes, or even sometimes because of the power failure, also you see the data loss happens in your network. So you need some kind of prevention mechanisms for this. Now, the data loss prevention is a method of using some technology which is going to protect your confidential data from being shared by any unauthorized users, because there is a possibility that the data loss prevention is not only about deleting or losing your data. It's also about probably leaking the information to any unauthorized parties, like maybe the company records. So you require some kind of mechanism to continuously monitor this data which is in use, whether the data is at the rest, maybe it is stored, or maybe it is in the motion, whether it is moving. So you need to have some mechanisms to prevent those data breaches in the real time. So this data loss prevention relies on some kind of mechanism or some algorithms it uses, where it is going to determine which data transfers to block. Apart from that, wireless security, like most of the firewalls have some kind of wireless security features also integrated, where you can also manage the access points or wireless controllers, and you can provide some kind of wireless security options to your network. And finally, there is one more thing. Almost all the firewall supports a centralized or on-box management. Now, the centralized management means what I can do is, let's say in your company, you have multiple firewalls. Maybe you have multiple firewalls in different branch offices, or maybe you have redundant firewalls for redundancy purpose. Like let's say you have clustered these firewalls and you want to manage these firewalls, or maybe on a remote branch as well. So normally, if you want to manage, mostly earlier we used to have a CLI method where you go and configure everything from the CLI from that device, but this is something no more. Means you still need to do basic configs via CLI, but not everything. So we use a GUI based interface. Now, every device can have its own GUI based interface. Like if you remember in ASAs, we have ASDM, where I can manage every individual firewall separately. Or you can have a centralized controller where you can have, with Cisco Firepower, there is something called Firepower Management Center, FMC. And with the help of this SMC, I can manage multiple firewalls from a single place. That's something you have. With Cisco ASDM, you have a ASA. ASA, we use a Cisco ASDM feature. And with the Firepower, with the Cisco Firepower, next generation firewalls, we'll be using FMC. Likewise, if you talk about Palo Alto firewalls, there is Panorama. And likewise, if you're using FortiGate firewall, there is something called FortiManager. So like that, every vendor have their own centralized management options from where you can manage multiple firewalls from a single centralized place. Now, these are some of the features what we have discussed up to here. And what the features may vary based on the vendor. So I'm not saying that every vendor do support all these features. So I just got a specific list from the internet where you can find the features support. But again, this may not be exact accurate, as I said. So basically the features may change. Like if you talk about Cisco, that's something what we are going to see in our course. So basically Cisco is going to provide most of the firewall features. So you can compare. So depending upon your requirement, what are the different security features you want to implement in your network? Based on that, you can decide which vendor probably offers you those kind of features. And according to that, you can decide or plan the products.